How do you do? Live from Fairfield, Maine. This is the Mercury Transit Broadcasting Station. Welcome. Hello, how do you do? It's May the 9th, 2016, and I have the great pleasure and the high honor and the distinguished privilege of presenting not just myself, but the Transit of Mercury, live streaming. I'm astronomy educator Lauren Spurs, living the dream with you. Today, we have an opportunity to enjoy one of the great astronomical events, a relatively rare event, I might add. Planet Mercury, already beginning its transit, well into its transit, an event which began at approximately 7:12 this morning and will continue till approximately 3 o'clock this afternoon. And I have the happy and homey privilege of bringing you live coverage. This historic live stream, sponsored and supported by the Maine School of Science and Mathematics in Limestone, Maine, and supported and sponsored by myself personally. And I'll give you more details as we approach. The sun is shining in a partly cloudy fashion, and as I stand, I'll attempt to show you something. See some of the instruments. I'm turning on some of the astronomical dot. This live stream broadcast is transit net moment. How do you do? Nice to see everybody again. See me. I'm really excited. The sun's beginning to shine. Here we go. Great. I'm now looking at Mercury by this 8-inch toddler telescope, and the planet appears as a tiny little black, sharp black dot. Yeah, let's try it. We're gonna.
Your camera's right here.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
Gone. Well, I don't mean to spoil the fun, but I'll stand and pose here so you can see me. I'm going to be really embarrassed if this live feed isn't working and I'm just speaking to myself. It's working because there seems to be some electronic digital dotting at the bottom of the screen that encourages me. Am I permitted to identify you?
No. Of course you are.
Thank you. I'm at the home of one of the most important American planetarian personalities today, and that's none other than the illustrious John Astronomy Now Meter, who is viewing, if you can see to my rear, that didn't sound right. If you can see behind me, John is busily attending to, thank you, John, attending the planet to achieve a series of digital photographic images that will. I'm going to try again. Okay, you might wonder what I'm doing. Why isn't he looking through the telescope? Why is he holding that strange cardboard near the scope? Well, obviously, gazing at the sun requires some precautions, because I enjoy my vision as much as you do. So I'm here projecting the image of the sun through the telescope. It's a reflecting telescope. A mirror bounces the sunlight through a secondary mirror that you can't see in this tube, and then pours forth through an eyepiece, an ocular, and a focusing mount that I'm pointing to here. And that collected light is being magnified onto this screen I'm holding here, a simple piece of foam board, white, and it clearly projects the solar disk upon it, and hopefully Mercury as well. I'm happy to add, to heighten the drama, there is a sunspot complex not far from Mercury, and it's just a thrill being able to contrast the soft contour of the spot's umbra and penumbra region with the sharp, clear, distinct disk of the Mercurian wonder. The transit time's approximately 6 hours, and you think that's a long window, and it sure is. 7.5 hours of watching this not pale blue dot, but tiny black dot face off with the sun. There's no risk, believe me, of the planet actually colliding with the sun or being swallowed up by it, although it looks kind of funny that way. No. The planet is approximately 36 million miles from the solar photosphere. And for that good reason, it leaves us at about 60 million miles from you and I. And that's farther even than Fairfield, Maine. And we have an opportunity now to see Mercury a little bit larger, obviously, since it's closer to us than if we're actually drifting across the solar face, which would be a scary prospect. But it's a little larger in the sky. It's still too small, even with a piece of welder's glass, to really see the planet. It's like a tiny black dot against the brightness of the solar photosphere. But it's still worth seeing. I'm getting a little bit of light, so don't mind me. I'm just trying to do my best. I'm trying to make it look right. And Mercury, where are you? I've got the sun through the eyepiece here. Don't worry, you viewers. You'll have your chance. We're really there's a big blue zone coming up, and maybe my fellow viewers, these are professional people I'm with here, and that's John Meter,
Hello.
the Magnificent.
I've lost it, so I'm trying to find the sun here for a second.
I hope you can see John rearward as he through his Celestron 8. He's got a through the. It's a professional appliance, so there's no danger to any blinding. Thank goodness. On the other hand, I'm using the alternative method. Here I am. I'm using the alternative method here of projecting the solar, which I'm doing now. The sun's coming out nicely. Here's a black dot that is visible pretty prominently, and there's a secondary sunspot group that's visible that the planet's approaching. So there's a lot to look forward to. This is the Mercury Transit Network, and I'm so happy that out there in viewing land, you're looking at me. I'm living the dream with you. I want to introduce you to other members of this war party here. At a distance is one of the legendary figures of the planetarium profession, Alan Davenport, who is he cuts a tall figure, and we're really pleased that he's joining this war party for this event. And I feel real good. I feel happy. You know me along to me quite looking like this. I'm even color coordinated for the event. And I want to go further. There's so much to say, and I only have about 4 hours to talk to you, so you'll have to get used to me. I certainly hope this broadcast is feeding into your life. I mean, I'm a happy guy, and I'm glad to be part of your life for a few hours here. You might wonder, why am I doing this? And that's a good question. There's something about the astronomical universe that really tickles my tickler. And I hope you feel, if you're with me at all, now maybe you're eating some soup or working on a math problem or thinking about what you're going to do this summer. And there are lots of things you can think about if you spend time thinking. And I do a lot of thinking these days. So the opportunity today is to wait for the sun. Ah, there's John Meter. Hey, John, why don't you say hello to everyone here in viewing land
Hey there.
today?
I'm hanging out with Larry, Mr. Birds, the astronomy professional that you all know and love so well.
Yeah, that's me.
And oh, we got some sun, Larry.
Yeah, I'm moving fast, John.
You get it.
I feel I've got it.
Oh, I think it's gone. We got a lot of clouds today, so it's coming and going pretty quickly. And
John, what are you doing with your telescope?
well, I've got a camera on there, so we're shooting prime focus through the C8, and I've been shooting pictures since first contact at 7:12 this morning.
We're eager to see your images. We've seen many of them in the past and rejoiced over your success.
We'll share a few when we get them all said and done.
Good. We're here in friendly Fairfield, Maine. This is a happy community. There's even a bakery here, and we've already been enjoying some of its best donuts. I like donuts, especially when I observe. This session continues. Now, here I am. Did you forget about me? In the background, we're kind of like astronomical objects in conjunction here. It looks like we're close together, but we're really not. He's far to my rearward, and there he is. It's kind of funny. It looks like he's about the size of my head, but in astronomy, things like this happen all the time. Things look big or small, and it's perception, really. I have lots of feelings about the transit of Mercury. It brings back many memories of earlier years when I didn't have a beard or mustache, and I was just I. And some of you might think, well, who am I? I'm just a kid going to school. What's going to happen to me one day? And you never know. Look what happened to me. It could happen to you too. And we're here today to think about what is the universe? Who am I? Where am I? What am I going to do? What is it all about? I've heard many people ask that question. What is it all about? I have an answer for you. I'm sorry. That's why I do this. I'm hoping maybe, oh, wait, I got a little bit of sunlight. Don't mind me. Nothing to it. I got the technique. Well, the sun's gone again. Don't worry, we still have about 3.5 hours left for another chance. Something's got to happen in 3.5 hours. I feel pretty good about it. If I get hungry and eat a sandwich, I don't mean to be rude. I might let one of my substitutes take over for a cameo appearance here. I really like this telescope. We've been together a long time. We've traveled tens of millions of light years together. And I'll tell you, you want to be with somebody you like. It's been a great adventure, I'll tell you. Now let's talk about Mercury. I know you've been asking me or wondering, why is he looking at this planet? Why doesn't he spend time with a real impressive planet like Jupiter or Saturn? Why does he want to be with little Mercury? Well, I don't know. I can't really answer that. I'm just the kind of person that prefers inferior planets. And this one's got something. It's a ball of rock being tortured by the sun. I mean, how would you feel if it was 800 degrees above zero on the surface of your skin? And then within a short period of time, it goes 300 below. I mean, you'd look different too. It's tough. I feel sympathy toward this planet. And this is one of the few chances it makes a public appearance. So Mercury is a world, planet of this solar system. It's one of the known planets, named after Hermes, the Greek god of messages, fast messages. For the internet, there was Hermes. And then you have Mercury, which is the Latinized Hermes. And if you think that's confusing, there's a lot more confusion than that. But astronomy somehow transcends confusion and creates a sense of solidarity. Let's bring three guys together, like Alan, John, and I together, as an example of solidarity if ever there were. And I'm afraid there's a big, thick cloud the size of Asia over Fairfield right now. So maybe twice Asia. So we're gonna continue this nonstop. It almost feels like election eve, doesn't it? When you're up till 3 or 4 in the morning waiting to see if your candidate is going to go back to the Bahamas or serve at the Blaine House. Here we are, a happy threesome. This is much better than being prepackaged, canned, and recorded. I feel happier and there's so much to say about Mercury. Let me talk about this world. I've only been talking to you for approximately 14 minutes. I only have 3 hours to go. We're going to get very well acquainted by the end of this day. You may not want to see me ever again or hear my voice. And I'll let John or Alan take over then for the next transit. And you might be asking me that now. You say, well, it's cloudy. Won't I have another chance? I've even doffed my cap. Good enough. I'll tell you all about it since you've been asking me that question. Can you hear me out there? Does anyone want to ask me a question? Thank you. Let me continue. Am I seeing? It says to stop the broadcast, and the little volume bar is recording my voice.
Is there a way to log into that site?
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, see if I'm there. Alan, you better warm up. You're not wearing socks. This is the Mercury Broadcasting Network. NTB Network. Thank you. That particular portrait, Andreas Salarius. You know, even back there in the 16th century, they had a nice picture. Let me continue with this harangue. Out over Fairfield, and let me tell you, the weather forecast around New England isn't necessarily very favorable. If you're watching from Aroostook County, you know where that is. That's where you live. Aroostook County in northern Maine, not good. It's windy and cold and cloudy everywhere. And according to my weather forecast, it's going to rain there later today. That's why I left. Not that I don't like you, not that I won't come back. To go, had to leave. Astronomy demanded my appearance where there was a little bit of clear sky. And sure enough, after an incredible night in the rest stop at Medway, I continued onward to reach Bangor for all the necessary condiments, and clear skies prevailed. And at 7 in the morning, I made an appearance by the John Baptist High School. Fortunately, I wasn't arrested or detained by the authorities, although people were giving me many strange looks as I set up this humble little telescope to try to bring the Mercury attitude toward people. Ignore me or walk away from me very quickly. Nevertheless, I managed to image the sun at 7 in the morning and actually caught the first tiny hint of Mercury contact, we call it, as the planet's limb begins to silhouette against the bright photosphere of the sun, and then a second contact. Mercury's kind of shy. I don't know what happened. It might have been a childhood trauma, but it appears finally at by about 7:20 or 25, the entire planet, this remarkable moving sunspot-like object drifting across the solar face, and then you realize it's not a sunspot at all. And the reason it's sort of exciting, sunspot grouping is visible near the planet today, and it's very different in appearance. That, as I said earlier, the sunspots are rather soft, more mottled object wonder on the solar face, and the planet, in contrast, is very sharp and delineated, round, and unique, and it's moving. It moves, unlike the sunspot that seems stationary over a period of hours over the sun, although they will seem to drift and do drift across the solar photosphere in the course of a day or 2 or 3 or 4 days. Much more rapidly. How rapidly? Really rapidly. How many thousands of miles an hour? A lot. And as it cruises across the void, it gives one's pause. But nevertheless, I arrived. I don't know how to tell everyone this. I think it is snowing. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. It's starting to snow, like some Hollywood special effect. So I better cover up the telescope's optics. So there, it's in here. Strange, but in astronomy, strange things happen. And just being a human is a strange experience. So we're continuing now as Mercury whether I like it or not, is doing its dance. Whether I can see it or not, it's happening. And that's an important part of all astronomy. A lot's going on, whether you like it or not. You may be worried about your AP exam. You may be really concerned and upset about the fate of your automobile transmission. You might wonder what's to cook for supper tonight. And you may be nursing a grudge against your neighbor. But when it comes to the universe, it doesn't care. Things keep moving all the time. And what's kind of fascinating and wonderful about astronomy is that universal law dictates the mechanics of the universe, so we can predict and enjoy, whether you're a professional or just someone like me, wonders of the night. And this is what makes these events remarkable. You know, in the old days, before internet and iPod and Kindles and even MTV, we used to have to do everything by hand. Slide rules, tracers. People's handwriting turned out to be beautiful, but it was slow go. Today, everything seems so instantaneous. But the ability for astronomers to be able to predict the wonders of the night and the motion of the planets was one of the first astronomical record keeping. The mechanical universe began with actually studying the motion of the wandering stars. And Mercury, which we can enjoy in transit, is among them. One of the ancient wanderers. Its mercurial appearances, its swiftness, confounded people. Like its sister planet Venus, it would have a brief window of visibility in the evening, period of visibility before dawn, before sunrise. And that startled people enough to think they were looking at two different worlds, an evening star and a morning star, or later an evening wanderer, a morning wanderer. And they would even name the appearance of the wanderer by a different name, whether it was in the evening or the morning. And just think what a great leap of science was to realize that this was simply the same world from window of visibility. And then the next step was to acknowledge this picture, but you can see what's in the middle. It's not the Earth, is it? No. I mean, I could be thrown into jail if this were the 14th century for promoting something like this. Hope you can hear me. No, the heliocentric universe and the beginning of looking at a world like simply from the Earth as a bright morning or evening star, and then being able to examine it and study it and accept it and embrace it as a planet, as a separate world, as a sister world, if you will, also orbiting the sun. And then the next great leap, the mathematical insights to be able to describe it mechanically. These are great achievements. So even, yeah, it's close. Oh wait, I think the sun's going to be coming back soon. Can you shout out there? I hope you can hear me, because I'm really pushing it. I'm really working it hard right now. I'm waiting for some sunlight. I'm standing up. Yep, here I am. Remember me? You saw me? I'm standing up. And I'm trying, if I can. Hello? Can you hear me up there? I think there's somebody looking at me. I hope you're being amused by my little harangue here. I might start singing before. I've got 3 hours left. Am I visible?
We were watching you on.
Hey.
You're stellar.
Hey, I got feedback of the best kind.
The better kind, yeah.
Better kind. And the sun is coming out. All right, I've got to move fast. Do you want to handle the screen there, someone?
Do what?
Hold on a minute. Let me get it first.
I can't see.
Yeah, I know. I don't even. What happened? No, not a cloud. Why can't I've lost all my skills.
Where's the screen?
Also, that little dot. Doesn't matter. I can't see it.
Oh. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Come on, Em. Why don't you say hello to the studio audience?
Hi, everybody.
What? Come on. Hey, everybody out there. I'm in Fairfield, Maine, not Fort Fairfield, Maine. I'm not in the fort anymore. I'm just Fairfield, Maine. Here, don't I look better? I'm sure you see the resemblance between myself and John Lennon in 1967. all I'll have to say.
You piece of chance, huh?
Yes, I'm giving Mercury a. You know, you might wonder what folks like, why would we do this? Why aren't we just simply tax attorneys or work for the governor or to administer some particular need in the retail industry? And I've asked myself that as well too.
Too much like work.
We look, we're working, but we're really not. Okay, I'm looking out, and because we're in Fairfield and not Fort Fairfield, there's actually a chance of blue sky intervention here. So let me get back to it. I want to introduce you to my friend Toddler. Toddler is one of the instruments that's really changed my life. And as I say, we've traveled together, and when you go millions of light years, you want to be around somebody you like. Talk back to me, although he can freeze my. Continue with our. You might wonder, why is this even happening? Why would a planet do this to me? Like, got it. All right, yay. Can you come over here and show everyone Mercury? No, I can't. Hold on. Hang on. No. All right. I hope you can see something here. I've imaged the sun, and right there, I'm pointing my. No, that my finger is in the planet. Right at the tip of my fingernail is a little black dot. Here, I'll get closer. Maybe Mercury, and there's a sunspot group nearby. That's remarkable that this world, 3,000 miles in diameter, is transiting a face that's 865,000 miles in diameter. And that sunspot group there is probably about the size of the planet Venus. And there's it's gone. Hi, there's Alan. What? Yeah, thanks. All three of us. Power here to keep the running for a decade. And really excited. I'll get it, John. There's a professional for you. So, Mercury. Why do we care about this blasted piece of rock eating a hamburger? Or if I were vegan, I'd have some rice noodles. It doesn't matter. Listen to me, please, everyone. We want to raise your awareness. You know, Toddler and I like people. And we're having an opportunity today to give you here from Fairfield on the Mercury Broadcasting Transit Network. I think I said that right. The opportunity for you to know something about another world. You didn't know that. What possible interest could this tortured piece of rock hold for people on a pale blue dot of a world just barely hanging on to the next paycheck? It's important for you to remember, and for me to remember too, is that in expansion of the solar system, we expand our own awareness of what living really is. And you may not visit Mercury or any other solar system world in your lifetime, but that doesn't mean our descendants won't be there, settling, colonizing, living and loving on the worlds of the solar system. Freedoms, new hopes, new possibilities, new challenges. We have to do our part now. And every time that you step out, look up and gaze, you too can be part of that great historic effort. It's going to be a long time before anyone walks on Mercury. Not your cup of tea. But there could be an opportunity as the days go by for you to have an opportunity to learn more about it too. So what does it all mean? You're talking about a world that's airless, waterless, unless there could be a frozen pocket of ice somewhere in a remote polar crater, bombarded by solar radiation in a way that the Earth will never experience, thankfully. A world that is moon-like in its surface appearance in terms of its crater covering, yet unlike the moon in many ways too, because it seems to feature surface cracks and scarps and unusual lingering ray structures that we don't see on the moon. If I put a picture of Mercury, maybe I'll do this side by side with the moon. Mercury is about a third larger than the moon in diameter and in volume. Certainly, probably several moons could fit inside of it. It's the swiftest of worlds. It's a world requiring only 88 days to orbit the sun. I said 8. Are you listening out there? 88 days to orbit the sun. That's right. And in that orbital motion, that fantastic dance it does. Wait a minute. Sunlight's coming again. Hold on. I'm going to try again. I'm looking. You've got to keep talking. They say when you're on the air, you never stop talking. Great. And there it goes again. It's touch and go. Hi, everybody. I'm Mr. Burrs. I'm your host on the Mercury Transit Network for this 2016 installment of the Transit of Mercury. Now, because I feel a certain degree of comfort with you, I can totally reveal myself. To be ashamed about, I'm here. Let me continue. We're talking about what? No, not Venus, not Pluto. We're talking about Mercury, the planet closest to the sun. You know, there was a time when astronomers thought, as late as the 19th century, that another planet orbited the sun inferior to Mercury. It didn't have a self-esteem problem. Inferior in the sense that it was even closer to the sun in radius than Mercury. And this was an investigated conjecture as the scientists began to investigate and understand gravity as described by Newton. Remember that old cookie scientist, Fig Newton? Yeah, Isaac Newton. And they were beginning to apply his law of universal gravitation to better calibrate the movement of the planets. This was the formation of what we refer to today as the mechanical universe, the application of Newtonian mechanics, astronomical motion, the solar system. There was some concern because Mercury didn't seem to be quite calibrated as astronomers accurately hoped to elucidate through the works of Newton. And the only possible conjecture, as radical as it was back in the 19th century, was that another planet existed inferior, that closer to the sun than Mercury, that altered the orbit of Mercury, gravitation, answer and solve their problems. You know, scientists have problems too, and they don't like unsolved problems just as much as you don't like unsolved problems. And the answer was Vulcan. They actually conjectured of an inferior planet, which they named or named Vulcan. You know where I'm going with that one. Vulcan, never seen, but the great search began. Those people in the 19th century were real eyeball specialists. They were constantly, and they didn't have the benefit of the internet or electronic appliances. It was just eyeball to eyeball, glass to glass, and they sat on a chair on there, you know what, trying to see something new. And there was a degree of competition. Nationalism in the 19th century was a very powerful global force, with nations trying to outwit other nations for honor and achievement. France versus Germany, England versus France, Italy versus everybody. This was a motivating principle, and it did motivate discovery. In the case of Vulcan, you had the great French astronomer Leverrier, who had enjoyed glory as the discovery force for planet Neptune in 1846. And he was hot on the trail of Vulcan, and he never found it. And maybe to Percival Lowell's attempt in searching for Pluto, which he never found and died before its discovery in 1930. No one ever found Vulcan, and the motion of Mercury remained a mystery And physicists are good sweepers too. And I guess many of them swept the anomalous motion of Mercury under the rug and let it go. But we've got a few hours to come to the answer to that story too. How's the air over there?
What do you want us to do? What can
I
we
want
do
you
to
to
help you?
talk to the audience because I feel as though they're getting tired of me.
Well,
And
bring it over here, and I'll tell them about myself taking pictures.
I can do it. Hey, the sun's come back out. Hold on a minute,
Look
everybody.
look at the thing. Quick, quick.
Open. I can do it.
Yeah.
What happened to it?
Oh, it's gone.
Can't be gone. I'm a professional. I see it. We are okay. Oh, great. I think I'm moving really fast.
No.
It's going. Okay, we're coordinated here. Hey, everybody. You ever seen three guys trying to turn a telescope? It sounds like a bad joke. It's not working. Although I'm getting a lot of.
No, it's too much. Okay. You take that, and I'll tell them about taking pictures.
All right, great. Thanks, Alan. Where were you when I needed you?
No, you're a good helper.
Hey,
Come on over.
hey, everybody. I'm moving over to a new zone, and hopefully,
So what
There
we
you
have
go.
here is I've got a Celestron 8-inch telescope. And on the front, we have what looks like a mirror, but it's actually a solar filter. Cuts out most of the light and makes it so that you cut it down so it's safe to look at. For one thing, if you put an eyepiece on here. But I don't have an eyepiece on the telescope. I have my Canon's 60 full-frame camera mounted as a prime focus. So essentially, this telescope becomes a 2,000 millimeter lens at f10. And I'm shooting directly through the telescope. So the light, if you can see, it comes down through and right onto into the camera. And I have it set so right now, there's the sun again. So if I wanted to shoot, and the shutter, I can wait for the camera.
I heard it.
Do it again. That's the mirror flipping up, and now that's the exposure. Because when the mirror flips up, it creates vibration, which you want to get rid of because it makes everything blurry. So you make the mirror flip up first, settle down, and shoot it again. And there you go. And we just took a couple shots of maybe the sun showed up in there. The trick is getting the focus, which is kind of a hard thing to do here. Long enough. Because you've got a live view screen on the back, and you need to bring the sun up in that and focus it, and then magnify it on the edge of the sun so that you get a really sharp edge to look at, and focus that back and forth. You get it right in focus, and then you can start shooting pictures. Keep it centered. The telescope doesn't have a clock drive, so it's eyeballed up with the polar coordinates, so it's doing okay. Oh, but we need clear skies. Pictures of clouds through the solar filter don't look like anything, so it's a lot of sitting around today. But we did get a few good views earlier, and I'll be sure to share those with Larry later, and so you guys can all check those out.
Thank you, John. I'm returning back, and hopefully, thanks to the quick-witted work of Alan Davenport, it's gone. It's coming back, though. I see an opening. Stand by. Good, quick thinking, Alan. Mercury is the kind of place that offers something for everybody. I mean, if you like tanning, it's ultimate. The deep freeze and want to get away from everybody in the intense cold, you can't find a better spot. At least this side of the sun. You probably don't see very much out there because there's nothing to see. And the sun is not cooperating. So we're happy about it. We can cloud cycle, and we need an atmosphere, we need the water cycle, and we need the sun too. All of this is brought to you by the Mercury Broadcasting Network, the Mercury Transit Network, pardon me, or the Mercury Transit Broadcasting Network. Alan,
Network here, buddy.
would you like to
Yes,
say,
Mr. Bird.
look at the camera.
Hi.
Would you like, is he focused?
I've never been focused in my life.
No, it's me.
Alan, be cheerful. Say something that'll inspire the viewers.
That's a tall order, actually.
You're a tall fellow.
I think one of the things that I like best about what we're doing here is bringing the astronomy to the people to make sure that more people understand what's going on out there.
He's right.
The miracle of the universe, that everything is in motion and yet there's an order to it, especially in systems like the solar system, where you have all of the basically dominated by the gravitational attraction of the sun, and yet they're in constant motion trying to escape from it. And that's what gives you orbits, like the orbit of Mercury. Mercury goes around the sun once every what, 88 days or so,
Aye.
something like that. The thing that's amazing is that it doesn't go right across the face of the sun more often. When its orbit is aligned such that it crosses directly between the Earth and the sun, are we going to get the advantage of a transit? So the next one isn't for quite a while. Am I right, Larry?
Yeah, yeah. November 11th of 2019. Where will you be then? Yeah, that's right. And following that, we don't have no transit until 2032.
Oh,
we are warming. We're closing in, everybody. We had it, and
we almost got a picture of the
six hands are better than two,
and we still can't get there fast enough. We need more technology. The more that you put computers into this, the more and our inaccuracies can be overcome.
Alan, please elaborate on your notion of orbital mechanics and the predictability means to ordinary folks like you and I.
Well, the regularity to physically the system of the orbits of all of the satellites in the solar system, satellites and galaxies, it's just so fixed and uniform that it's very easy for us to calculate well in advance, and even into history, to figure out when planets or moons a particular position to one another. So it's like a long time ago it was described that way. And at that time, clocks weren't even as precise as they are today, which today we do use timekeeping standards that are based even on the motion of subatomic, but by and large, do very well and have for thousands, hundreds of years at least. We've done very well by using the satellites of the sun in order to keep track time. So that's how regular the system is. That's why we have a year that's measured in 365 1/4 days, year after year, and that's why we insert a leap day every 4 years, as we did this year, so that we can adjust ourselves to the motions of, and make sure that our calendar lines up with our seasons for a very long time to come. That's the kind of the magic of astronomy that gives it that reliability, gives it a sense of governance of laws that makes it worth studying and makes it easy to actually learn a great deal about. This has been for it's got another 5 billion years probably before the sun becomes a little bit unsteady, or more unsteady than we'd like it to be. So the regularity is that constant.
All of this information, I hope, to you viewers, it's a certain sense of curiosity. Astronomy is not the province of a few specialists, and I think our passion clearly connotes the need that small events that may bring us into your study cell for a few moments may lead to big consequences for you. The transit of Mercury, next transit, 3 years will come and go. The total solar eclipse of next August 21st will come and go. But the universe always provides another example, another demonstration of its power, grandeur, its epic within. And you need to. We are part of the universe. It's right and it'll bring us that much closer, whether it be a camera, even a smartphone camera, a telescope, the necessary links. Two of us together here. There. Have you ever seen such a binary stellar personality formation like this? Two of the great wonders of the universe. Anyway,
we're a lot less regular than the orbits of the planets, though. You have to.
But they can't smile like I do. I got my Robert Redford mustache on, and I've got a chance to let you know that Mercury isn't gone yet. The transit, according to my chronometer here, is going to continue probably for at least 2 more hours if you're in the mood. And we have reports coming in from all over New England, Boston and Portland, and yes, even Aroostook County, of people who are at least aware of what's going on and want to learn more about this particular event, the transit of Mercury, this little blasted wonder world. 88 days to orbit the sun one time. Probably mean in terms of Earth calibration that you'd be 4 times older on Mercury than you would be on Earth. So don't feel bad if you're 18 years old and graduating high school on Mercury 72. And, if you think of it that way, it brings reassurance. So one of the great awareness factors, I think, of astronomy is that it gives you a sense of perspective, or you can alter your perception too within the universe, as Alan so adroitly pointed out with eloquence, the regularity, the uniformity, a governed universe. And even Einstein himself in his latter years, reading the last time I went to the bathroom, talked about Einstein's insight. The greatest joy of the human intellect was that we are rational. There is a reasoning brain within us, the logical brain for most of us. And we can indeed take confidence in by universal law. And if nothing else, this transit gives us a chance, a personal engagement with that regularity. I can't hardly wait, John, for 2019. I mean, I know what it's like in Aroostook County in November. And if you don't like that, you can wait till 2032. You can pickle yourself. You can make it to 2611. That's my plan. I want to be pickled. And I want to reemerge for 2611 for the transit. I'll be quite a sight.
Take a shower first.
But if you can bring me to the eyepiece, I'll wait till the 27th century. And that's kind of neat. I mean, where else can you enjoy a sense of empowerment where with regularity we can, with accuracy and scientifically predict? I mean, doesn't that stir some of you there while you're eating your chowder? These are important insights too. Currently, conditions here are pretty cloudy. I mean, it's been a hard year. But don't feel bad. Mercury has no satellites. It's up there all alone, orbiting the sun, getting burnt and blasted every second. I mean, can you say the same thing? So it's an important, I think, opportunity that we've had in Fairfield to be able to return to space. You don't have to be Matt Damon to enjoy astronomy. You don't have to be Edwin Hubble or even Carl to understand some of this universe that we live into. Mercury remains an important part of the solar system because it's there, because it's one of the members that we can now study, whether it's by humble astronomical instrumentation like we enjoy, and I'll bring you back to toddler again. There you go. Over there? No. Let's get a view of it. There, in living color.
Yeah, black and white. But we have a red one over here. A little astroscan.
Wouldn't you like one of those in your backyard?
Yeah, this is my very first telescope.
Tell us more about it, John.
Well, I got this telescope in 1979, and I was thrilled to have it.
Wasn't President Carter in office then?
President Carter was in office in 1979. It is snowing out.
Yes.
I think it's snow. Maybe it's birdseed falling down.
Yes, there could be Mercurian ash that somehow drifted toward the Earth.
But I remember I had started work at the planetarium as a student at the University of Maine at Orono, and they had all these cool catalogs, and they had this telescope in the catalog. Awesome picture of the Orion Nebula beside it. I thought, wow, I want to see the Orion Nebula through that when I get one of those. And they were $199.
Did you ever see the Orion Nebula through that instrument?
Did it look like the picture in the magazine?
It did not.
Why not?
It wasn't as colorful as in the magazine. The interesting thing about that is that when I look through even my big telescope, the one the C8 over here taking pictures through, on here we'll see things I can't see with my eyes. You know, especially color. If I take a picture of the Orion Nebula with that camera, there'll be lots of reds and you'll see some blues of the different cloud formations. If I look at it through an eyepiece, it all pretty much looks white.
Why is that, John? What's the difference?
Part of it's eyes. The part of your eyes that sees faint light on it. And anything that's faint is going to look black and white. Most stars look black and white, but that's not because they're white. It's because your eyes can't see the color in dim stars. So you can see the color that we can't see because it's more sensitive to color than our eyes are.
In that sense, should we go into outer space and send robots with cameras instead of human beings that can't detect those colors?
I mean, I think you should do both because there are things human beings can do that robots can't do. We think in a different way. But you can have more sensitive sensors for viewing things. You can see things in wavelengths we can't even begin to see with our eyes. So just what we're doing here makes it so I can see things, take pictures of things and then share them with people. But it also, if I was taking pictures of nebulas and things like that, I can see colors, pick up that color and the colors of stars that I wouldn't see with my own two eyes.
Quite so. There's so many areas in the astronomy textbook, if you will.
I think there's an earthquake.
Yeah, I'm getting a little shaky here. But there's so much to learn. The key is begin.
Yeah.
Maybe a birthday telescope is the way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe simply a subscription to an astronomical journal like Sky and Telescope or Astronomy Magazine. Maybe a visit to your local planetarium.
Yeah, that's a great one up in Aroostook County, I hear.
Yeah, I've heard about it too. What do you know about that place?
Well, I memories of that place. I did a lot of shows there at one time.
Yeah, that's right. You were the original progenitor pioneer of the planetarium power in Aroostook County.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to call it.
I guess, yeah. And I've inherited that role for the moment, at least. Yeah. And someone will take my place one day too, or maybe you out there. You're out there one day that'll lead the planetarium industry into new dimensions too. And that's the great thing about astronomy. There's always seems to be a new insight, new discovery. How many of you recall New Horizons visit to dwarf planet Pluto last summer?
I do.
Thank you. How many of you are aware of that new gravitational wave insight that occurred just a few months ago? And lots of different wonder. Who knows? When I was a child, John probably remembers too, Jupiter, we only read about lights orbiting it. Now, 5 times as many. And there are new discoveries waiting for you to make. Not just for old geezers like us. You young people. It's your time to step up to the plate too. Astronomy needs you too. Mercury is still there. The transit probably for another 2 to 3 hours, still intact. Our network is live. Does anyone have any questions out there for us? Speak to us, please.
Too bad we didn't have waiting for us.
Thank you for that question. You want to know more about Mercury's exploration? Well, I can tell you about that. Thankfully, the genius of NASA, we sent 2 probes to, we're going to hit of sunlight.
You won't even make it to the telescope.
It's scary.
Not this time.
You know that we visited Mercury with spacecraft?
We have.
Yeah, you're right. One when I was in high school, the Mariner 10 spacecraft.
One of the earliest probes that we ever sent to planets, right? The Mariner program.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, a lot of times we would think that the thought of sending something to something so close to something far away was prohibited. And I never dreamed in my day we'd see a probe to Mercury. And when NASA announced the Mariner 10 mission, it's kind of a thrill. And similarly, when New Horizons approached Pluto last July, what a thrill. Did any of you see those photographs of Pluto? If not, why don't you do that right now? I'm speaking. Don't wait. Just check it out and see Pluto via New Horizons. And what about that European Space Agency to the comet nucleus and bouncing around there for a while? And who knows what else? Astronomy is a practical activity, but it's also a theoretical and very speculative one. There are many elements of astronomy that we hope you'll find interesting too. Mercury is our interest today. I see a little blue sky. I'm going back to the top. Forecast in Fairfield called for increasing clouds in the. Here I am. Put my cap back on. I know you missed that. There. There, I feel better already. I could really use a pastrami sandwich, but I'm going to sacrifice it because you're more important to me right now. And it could be within seconds. I feel good. I think this is going to be it.
John, I might need you.
Hi. Remember me? I see a few flakes of snow falling down right now.
I'll try to hold this. I'll try to hold this. Tell me if I'm off.
You're on.
So I'm in about 5 seconds to find this.
We're going to try to anticipate this appearance of the sun and get to the view of the sunspot. Tilt the top forward a little. Your sun, no, the other way. The sun's hitting it. Make sure it stays in shade because the sun will wash out.
I don't.
It's coming. Yeah. Up. A little higher up. Nope. Nope. Down. I'm wrong. I think it might come down like that. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for Teflon bearings to make life a lot easier.
Unfortunately, it never hit the hole.
Oh, we got another Asian cloud. Thanks again for stopping in, enjoying our opportunity to look a little bit more closely at one of the worlds of the solar system. We're approaching the noon hour here. We've been with you for approximately 1 hour. We're going to take a small break in the broadcast, and we'll be coming back live to you in about as long as it takes me to eat a pastrami sandwich. And I'll be back. That could be quite a while. I'm enjoying seeing everybody out there. I hope you've learned a little bit more today about why astronomers do what they do and why astronomy needs you. Again, astronomy belongs to everyone, and to the man or woman on the street, to the intellect, to the retail sales force. You've been outside and seen something in the sky at night, purely enjoyed firsthand a full moon or the Milky Way. There's a good one right there. I think one of the reasons why we need to promote astronomy and its importance to everyday folk is that we don't, we may lose the right, not the privilege, but just the right of enjoying a night sky or a dark sky. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. I don't know how to put it any other way. Light pollution. Light pollution is a serious issue around the world. In our desire to illuminate our lives, we've sacrificed the darkness of the night and the wonder that only the nighttime sky can really inspire. There's a lot of wonder in life. But astronomical wonder, every night wonder of a dark sky, a star-filled sky, the Milky Way in the sky, is a unique awareness and a unique thrill. I don't want to simply ignore, neglect, or damage, or even destroy an increasing number of our population, especially our children, aren't aware, sensitive, or even appreciative of what a night sky might mean. And that's a little scary when you realize that we are living in a land of 300 million plus people. And if we lose the vision the night sky and stimulation that the night sky offers, where are we going to go? Our connection to the universe, the organic connection, the living, God knows connection we enjoy with the universe can't be, and we need to maintain our focus. It's been a great pleasure as we approach the noon hour, and we'll be temporarily stopping our broadcasting. In the event of a strange reappearance of sunlight, sensationally yours, we'll come back. Thank you very much for joining us here over at the Mercury Transit Network, the MTN. And this has been your host, Mr. Burris, friends of the Mercury Network. Thank you, and we'll be joining you back on the other side, living the dream.